You know what the trouble is, Brucey? We used to make shit in this country, build shit. Now we just put our hand in the next guy's pocket.
Hello, I'm Paul Ferrace, and I'm here with Evan, the wandering curator. In fact, we are wandering. We're on Cleveland's southeast side at the site of the former Cleveland Pneumatic Tool Company, the place where most of the Western world's aircraft landing gear was made. Of course, like too many industries and businesses in major Rust Belt cities, we're visiting former sites. Cleveland, of course, was an incredibly diverse manufacturing city. Everything from tanks to aircraft components, shipbuilding, everything was done to some degree here in Cleveland. But Cleveland Pneumatic, I remember being a Clevelander, having grown up and lived in Cleveland, we took great pride in the fact that no matter what was happening out in the sexy West Coast, where the aircraft plants are, Boeing was in Seattle and Southern California, or wherever they're building, big supersonic jets, fighters, even civilian transports like Boeing 747s, that, you have an airplane, you got to land it, and you got to land it on landing gear. And behind me is the campus where most of that landing gear was made. Cleveland Pneumatic Tool Company started out in 1894. Certainly weren't building aircraft landing components, but they were building air tools, pneumatic tooling, as the name implies. Sometime after World War I, as airplanes got bigger, you couldn't just have wood struts and bicycle tires to land your airplane on. Heavy weight of landing impacts needed something with shock absorbing capability, and Cleveland Pneumatic Tool happened to be the place to go. They were innovators in a lot of that early landing gear, basically ultimately having both fluid, oil, and gas struts, components to absorb shocks of landing. And of course, landing gear isn't just hinge sticks that drop down with a wheel on it. Some of these landing gears are quite complex because they go out, turn, and swing to the side, if you know what I mean. If you're familiar with the F-18 Hornet, because those things have to land on carriers. They have to be able to take a hell of a lot of impact, and they have to fold up into very confined spaces inside the airframes of the jets. But anyway, so this is a big campus. They did a lot of the initial forgings, casting work, and machining. They built the landing gear right here. Now, there were a lot of subsidiary companies whose job it was to support the mother company. Sadly, changing economic trends and consolidation of manufacturing as the world began competing. Cleveland Pneumatic was purchased by Goodyear Aerospace in 1993, and sometime about in the 2010s, the facility was shut down, moved elsewhere. We're still building aircraft. Hell, the B-52, the last one rolled off the assembly line in '65. They're still flying. I gotta believe somebody is making upgraded landing gear for them. Speaking of landing gear, could that be a plane buzzing overhead with some old Cleveland Pneumatic landing gear, perhaps? Or maybe he's just here to screw up our sound. But anyway, the equipment, the engineering specialty, the manufacturing expertise, that can't easily pack up and move if the company moves to the Sun Belt. Those people are still around. Now it's become press right.
In the world of metalworking, there's one company that's continually making a name for itself. Pressrite, one of America's most successful and innovative closed die forging operations.
And Pressrite is a company that makes all kinds of forged components for earth moving, construction, yes, military. They make tank components, really high precision gears that withstand just about everything. Because inside that building are some incredibly huge forging presses. They have a campus here, and they have a couple of satellite facilities in town and in Northeast Ohio. But I'm sure it's not the 400 plus jobs that left when the landing gear company shut down. Too much of Cleveland this is where something great used to happen. I'm happy to see Pressrite is still utilizing the campus and the facilities. But yeah, so Cleveland, I remember growing up as a kid, being the little military history buff that I was, I'd see planes flying over. You'd go to the Cleveland National Air Show and you'd see all kinds of planes, and sure enough, they were sitting on landing gear built right here in Cleveland. We were always very proud of that, and today we still can be proud of that heritage. Pressrite, I don't think they're doing it. They're not talking about doing anything. Maybe they need a better PR department. Maybe they'll hire a wandering curator. But anyway, we thought we would bring this to light. We did a little orbit around. The neighborhood is here. It's seen better days, but it hasn't gone away totally. We saw some public park infrastructure. Some of the houses are well maintained, but I can imagine at a time when 50, 60, 70 years ago, workers would probably take their lunch boxes and close the front door to the house, walk down the street, walk down the main street and come into the factory here. I don't think they're doing that anymore, but here it is. So we thought we'd bring that to your attention.